especially a great time to talk about hormones is when females go through their cycle, their hormones changes, and so that's why they use that as the reason of why they have a little attitude problem during that day, where it might just be they just want to be the boss that day. It may not be, but you know what? Some always say like, you know what, cool down, it's just my hormones talking, okay? That means your hormones have a major thing to play, especially if they just changed you from one day out of the week to a completely different person. Your hormones have a major, major role to play, all right? Now what's coming into play? I mean, most dudes, I can see every single guy in here, we have facial hair. At some point in time, we didn't have facial hair, but you know what? Our hormones, they pumped up, especially that testosterone, and they gave us facial hair. That's what's responsible for that, all right? But the other part of it is the nervous system, all right? The nervous system, there's a lot of subcategories to the nervous system, all right? There's your central nervous system, which is your brain and spinal cord, all right? And there's your peripheral nervous system, all right? Your peripheral nervous system takes every single action, right? From your peripheral nervous system, you have another subcategory. You have your somatic nervous system, and you have your autonomic nervous system. Our somatic nervous system is what controls all motor functions. Simply, I want to move my arm to here. That was my somatic nervous system working, all right? If you want to go pick up that weight, voluntarily, you know what to do. I know right here, my back grounded. I told myself I knew how to do that movement. If I hinge here, I knew that I'm going to move my hips. That's my motor pattern working. The next one is, well, we're not going to really talk about this one. We're going to dig deeper into the autonomic nervous system, and that has to do with all of our automatic functions. Breathing. Every single one of you guys are breathing right now, but you're not telling yourself to breathe. It's an involuntary action. Same thing with our hair growing. It's an involuntary action. I didn't just one day wake up and yell at myself in the mirror and say, beard, grow bigger, beard. I need you to grow bigger. It didn't happen that way. It just did it its own self. It was involuntary. I had nothing to do with it. It just did it. Now from the autonomic nervous system, you have two subcategories as well. You have your sympathetic nervous system. This is where we're going to get into it. And you have your parasympathetic nervous system. All right. Now, here's where it gets tricky, okay? When it comes down to stress, this is why a lot of people, they don't really get into it, because there's a lot of things that go on in your nervous system, as you can tell, to get down to where problems actually occur. So you have to dig really deep to find these things out, okay? But essentially, the big thing is stress, all right? Our body has no clue what kind of stress there is. And again, it's all a mindset. We convey what is stressful to us. There's no difference between somebody holding a gun to your head, asking for all your money, or the bank saying that you have a late bill and they're about to turn off your electricity. But which one is more of an imminent threat to our survival in our life? We can live in darkness for a month. Well done. We could also not live from a gun being shot through our head, all right? But you know what? Our brain will always respond to the exact same system. It'll go in our body, will go all the way through. Our nervous system will activate, our nervous system, our sympathetic nervous system will be activated, and it'll go all the way up to our nervous system, because our brain, which holds this, let it all the way down to here. Now what that does is that has a huge physiological impact on our body. What happens is, heart rate increases, blood pressure increases, our respiration changes, and our body uses norepinephrine, which is a hormone, again, because both these systems are together, to regulate its energy. Norepinephrine is simply adrenaline, all right? That's the term, but it's a hormone from adrenaline. It gets secreted through our adrenal gland, and our adrenal gland has two areas, one which is neural tissue, and one which is also part of the endocrine system. And our body will release that. We live in a stressed out area, and even when there's traffic, it's much easier to become late to things. And again, when you say that you're late, it's all mindset. You tell yourself you're late, and bam, You might feel yourself not breathing that fast. You're going to feel your respiration changing. Your heart rate may rise a little bit, and your blood pressure will rise as well. Especially if, let's say there was a larger crowd. I would guarantee you I'd probably be in more of a sympathetic nervous state. Why? I'm a little more stressed out. There's a lot of people in here, especially faces that I might not even know. My blood pressure would increase, my heart rate would increase. We've all probably felt it before. Every single one of you is probably giving a speech, may it be back in high school, college, whatever it may be. And you might go up there and you're like, oh, come on. Oh, I gotta give this speech. That's our stress going after us. Our heart rate is, our